Hi everybody. So I have this case on my phone and I really like it. I can't show you guys because it's on my phone, but it's like a wallet and it's not like the wallet case that has like that you open like a book. My mom had one like that for her old phone, but obviously her old phone is a 4S, so that obviously would not fit my phone. But the one that I have is like the phone goes on top of it, like the top part, the front piece looks like an actual like a phone case. So like it covers the buttons, and then the back, it has like the actual wallet. So you unzipper it, and then you unzipper it all around, and then it has like two pockets, so you can put like credit cards or maybe some cash or your keys, whatever. And then you can put like and then it has on the bottom, it has a little jump ring, and the case also comes with a strap, like a wrist lanyard thing, so it's really nice and I like it a lot. It's blue and it does cover the buttons, and so basically like picture like a little wallet, and then your phone just like rests on top of it. I actually had a keyboard case like that for my iPhone 5, and I have the iPhone 7 now, but it basically like the keyboard slid out like a drawer, and then the phone would rest on top. But that didn't really offer a lot of protection because it didn't cover the buttons. So did not really offer a lot of protection. And this, like, I'll have my phone on my wrist, but the thing is with the screen, like if I'm walking, like what if the screen were to hit something? So that's like one thing that I'm kind of worried about. So I'll just have to be really careful not to hit it. But I got this case on Amazon, and it was originally a $70 case, but I got it for like $16 on Amazon. So because it will tell you like the price, it'll tell you like if it's a sale price, and it'll tell you like what the actual price is and how much you save. So yeah, but I really like it. And that's the thing with shopping online. If I saw this, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like this. I'm not sending it back. But if I were to see this in person, I probably would have gotten like something else, like a book kind of the case. I mean, because that's the thing with shopping online is you don't get to see the item first. But if I saw this in person, I probably would not have gotten it. But I do like it a lot because like if I'm going somewhere really quick or whatever, I can just you know, put put my phone in here. Like, if I want to run a quick errand, I don't want to bring a lot of stuff, and I just need like maybe my credit card or something, for example. I can just put that in here in my phone, and then just zipper it up, and then like I kind of like this better because like the one that my mom had. I mean, hers was nice too, but it in like the front part closed over the screen, and then it was a little like magnetic piece that's kind of like snapped over it, and then you could just like fold it back when you were using the phone, which she kept it folded back a lot, and like she would put like her credit card in the pocket because it did have a couple pockets for cards, so she put her debit card in there. Like if she was just going like to run a quick errand and she didn't want to bring her whole purse, she just knew she needed her card. But like the thing I don't really like about that is, I mean, you could just open it up, and like you could just like kind of reach in, the card could like fall out or something, or you could open it up and like the card just, you might lose your card. So with this, it's kind of like it's zippered in there, so there's really no way it can come out, and the phone can't fall out of here because it's like tight in here. So if it's on my wrist and I'm walking, there's no way that my phone is gonna fall out of here. So yeah, but I really like this case a lot. Like I said, I can't show you guys because it's on my phone and I'm using my phone to record, obviously. So yeah, but I totally got off topic here, but I wanted to tell you guys about this case. I forget who makes it. I have to go into my order history. But the topic of this post, and I'll try to make this quick since I went off topic. But the topic of this post, I wanted to talk about my parenting, my parents' parenting styles. So my dad's parenting style, my mom's parenting style, like how they were different, how they were the same, things like that. So I know, okay, I'm not going to use the words like authoritative, authoritarian, and like, because I don't really know which one's like, I think it's hard. Authoritarian is like more strict, but I'm just going to use like strict, medium, and easygoing. And I actually did a term paper on this long time ago. And I was the only one in the class who got 100 on it, which is really awesome. It was like a 20-page paper, and you had to use like a scholarly journal article. You had to follow the guidelines and follow the article, and yeah. I remember one time I wrote like way too much. I copied the article. I took it to my professor because I was kind of like struggling a little bit in that class. It was an educational psych class, and it was kind of like, well, I wanted to show it to her before I handed it in to her. So I showed it to her twice. I fixed my mistakes, and I handed it in to her, and that's what she kind of told the class, like, she fixed her mistakes, and I kept coming to her until it was, like, perfect. So the second time I showed it to her, actually, she told me she told me the grade that I would have gotten if I didn't fix my mistakes. So I fixed my mistakes, and I got 100 on it because the teacher was handing the papers back, and I was like, and she said, oh, so it was 15 points, like 15 out of 15. So obviously if you do math, that's 100. So she said, oh, they got some 12, some 13, some 14, some 11s. And I said, any 15s? And she said, only you. And I was like, wow, that was really awesome. Because typically what this professor would do, because I had her twice, and she would give you like the term paper back once, and then she would let you fix it. And then, she would let you fix it, and then you would give it back for a final time. So that was what I did for the first time I had her. Did a paper on, like, stress. And then, and then I don't remember what I got the second time. But the second paper I did, rather, we couldn't fix it because of, for those of you guys that remember Hurricane Sandy, it really played havoc on our schedule at school. So there was really no time for that. So I couldn't just, we couldn't have the teacher correct it and then have her give it back to us. So, yeah, there was really no time for that. So, yeah, that was kind of like what got me into the subject of this post. But anyway, so I wanted to talk to you guys about, like, my mom and my dad's parenting styles. So my mom was more, like, in the middle, like, medium, like, half strict, half easygoing. Like, she had more, control. Like, she had control, but she also had more warmth than control. So my mom was kind of like, she probably, like, she maybe let us get away with things that we shouldn't have got away with, and the punishments, like, she didn't really go too deep with the punishments. Like, if we did something wrong or something, it would just be like, oh, no TV for a day, or no, like, I used to like to go on the computer, like, no computer tonight or something, like, something small. Or, like, she would take away something she promised us or something, or she would just take away, like, maybe one thing or something like that. It wasn't, like, a deep punishment. So she was kind of more, like, easygoing, and my dad, on the other hand, was more strict. So there was, like, high control, like, no warmth. So basically, he went really deep with the punishments. For example, there was a time when I did something, and my dad said to me, usually what he would do, though, like, sometimes what he would do is kind of have us pick, like, what he would want, like, what we would want taken away, which I thought was kind of silly, because, of course, a kid's gonna be like, oh, I like to, I don't know, I like to play with marbles or something, and then the parent's gonna say, oh, okay, so you can't play with marbles for a week, So it's kind of stupid, because if you ask a kid what they like to do, knowing that, and the kid knows that if they, like, whatever it is they tell you is what they're gonna lose, well, they're gonna tell you something that they don't like. So that's something that they don't really care if it gets taken away. So I would say to my dad one time, so he said to me, what is one of your favorite things to do? And I said, talk on the telephone. And he said, okay. guess what? You can't talk on it for a week. So he went in and he told my mom, okay, for a week, no telephone. And I was able to use it for emergencies, but not for, like, socializing with my friends. So I was getting, that same week, my mother had made an appointment for me to get a manicure. Just because I wanted to get my nails done, and she would let me every so often when I was younger. I was like 11. And she had said to me, she said, I should have told Dad to take that away from you. But, yeah. So you see what I mean? Like, I guess it's not really ideal to ask the kid, like, oh, what do you like? What do you like to do? Because they're going to pick something that they don't really like. Like, they're going to tell you something, like, they're just going to, that they like to do, just so that they don't really care if they lose it. So, yeah. So, my dad had said to me, he said, if this happens again, you're not going to lose the telephone for 2 weeks. You'll lose it for a month. So it's things like that. I remember, there was an incident, where I had a bad day at school, and he said to me, what's your favorite doll? And I told him, and he said, go get her. So I did. And that doll that I got really was my favorite doll. So he said, I named it Molly. So he said, oh, what about your doll Molly? I was like, yeah, that's my favorite doll. And he said, okay, why don't you go get her? Go upstairs and get her. So I said, okay. So I got her, I brought her downstairs, and I said, and I gave it to my dad, and he said, okay, she's going away for 3 weeks, so you get her back November 1st. So, yeah. So that was another time when he kind of, like, asked me what I like. So I don't know. Like, I think that's kind of silly because, like I said, the kid's going to just be, like, tell you something they don't like if they know that's what they're going to get taken away. So there was another time when my dad would, there was an incident on the airplane. But basically, I was flying with a friend and we were fighting, and that's like a whole nother story for another day, but I don't remember if I talked about it on my channel. I'm going to have to look through my videos because I don't remember if I told you guys, but if I didn't, then yeah, I'll have to definitely tell you guys that story, but, yeah. Okay, so he had said to me, I guess, like, sometimes, like, if it's something really bad that we did, he and my mom would talk about the punishment together, and then my mom would, like, actually carry it out, since we live with her primarily. So my dad had told her to have me stay in my bedroom, just sit in my room for a whole week, just sit on my bed with absolutely nothing to do. No phone, no TV, no computer, no music, nothing. Just sit there for a week with nothing to do. And the thing is, my mom didn't do that, and she had told me, she's like, I remember him telling me that, but he doesn't live here, and I'm not going to enforce a punishment that he decided on if he doesn't live here. And she also did not feel that I deserved that. Like, I felt like, okay, I didn't feel like I deserved that, because you'll understand when I tell you guys the story, but what happened was, like, yes, I'm not blameless, but my friend, this guy, he was the one who started it, so he kind of, like, started the whole thing. So while I'm not blameless, when he started it, it was, like, partially my fault. So she didn't feel that I deserved that. Like, I thought maybe, like, what would have been more appropriate was, like, just to have one thing taken away. Like, she really knows that I like the computer. Because I used to talk on AIM, and, like, I was, like, on it constantly. Like, now I'm hardly on the computer. Ever since I got an iPhone, I was, like, I didn't really use the computer as much as I used to. So, yeah. So, she didn't take it away. Like, she didn't have me sit in my room. She didn't punish me at all. And I think part of the reason I wasn't punished was because, like I said, you'll understand when I tell you the story, but I regrouped. I got it together. Once we were spoken to, we just got it together. So I think that was, like, why I wasn't punished, and she didn't feel that I deserved to sit in my room for a whole week. But, like, my mom is, like, more kind of, like, in the middle. So I'm not going to say she's easygoing, because she's not. She's, like, more so in the middle. So in that case, like, she would have just taken away the computer for a week or something. Like, when I talked about my worst punishment last year, and I know I talked about that on here. That I know I talked about. That I had talked about something I did to a friend. And my mother said that I couldn't go on the computer for 2 weeks. Now, my dad would have made that longer. For give you an example, my brother, kids, high school kids, I'm sure if any of you guys watching this who are in high school can relate. My brother would drink. He'd start drinking at like 16. And my mom was kind of just like, she wouldn't let him go out, or she would take away something that he really liked. My dad had said to him, why don't we go to CVS and pick up a drug test, and you could take it, and if it's positive, you lose the car for a year. And of course my brother's like, Dad, he was really upset. Of course he's going to be upset, because I think he knows, like, oh gee, if I take this, I'm not going to pass. Or, yeah, it's going to be positive, because sometimes with, like, a pregnancy test, a drug test, you pass, you can, depending on what you want. Sometimes, like, if you pass or not, like, it depends on what you want. So sometimes if it's negative, you pass if you don't want to be pregnant, and if it's positive and you pass, that means you do want to be pregnant. So it depends on what you want with those tests. But with drug tests, you would want to pass. So, yeah. But, like, to give you an idea, like, my dad would, like, say, okay, you lose the car for a year. One time my brother got caught going behind a guardrail that he wasn't supposed to go back there when he was outside. I think he was outside with his friends or something. And he wasn't supposed to go back there. And my dad said, if I ever catch you back there again, if I ever catch you going behind that guardrail, you will be in the house for a year. A year. Okay? So, meaning, like, obviously he could go out, like, to go to school, to go, like, if we have any family things, we have to go to doctor's appointments, obviously, things like that, but just not to hang out with friends. So, my dad one time said to me and my brother, if you ever get an F on your report card, you will be in the house for 3 months. Like, my mother would not have done stuff like that. Like, if my mother, like, if we were struggling in school, my mother would kind of, like, maybe, she would make sure that we did our homework. Like, she always would tell me, like, I couldn't talk on the phone or go on the computer until all my homework was done. Unless, of course, the conversation was homework related. Like, if I had to call a friend for something homework related, she would get involved. She would make sure that I was doing my homework. So, she wasn't as strict with that as my dad would be. Like, my dad wouldn't let us, like, he would kind of just make sure we did it. Like, he'd be a lot more strict. Like, my mother, like, if I got an F on my report card, my mother would not just have me, I would not just be in the house for a year. That would not happen. So, yeah. But, my dad used to have cameras in our rooms, and we were babies. So, like, obviously it wasn't, like, an invasion of privacy, because, like, we're babies. And my mother didn't really think it was necessary, because she figured, like, well, she could just check on us when we're sleeping. And I understand that with babies, you have to, like, make sure that they're okay. Like, you want to make sure that they're still breathing, and that they're not, like, have their face in the mattress or something. But she didn't really think that was necessary, because, like, my dad was the one who did that, because she could have just, like, checked on us. So it was things like that. And my dad also did this thing where, like, if we misbehaved, he had, like, a whiteboard or it was like a thing that goes on the fridge. It's like a magnet that you write on, and if we did something wrong, we would get an X. So there was a column. Like, I had a column, and then my brother had a column. And I think if we got, I forget how many X's, it was like 3 or 5, I think. I forget. So if we got, like, a certain amount of X's, we would be punished. My mom didn't do that. She kind of just, like, she was a little bit more, like, she kind of, like, let us get away with more. So hopefully, you guys get the idea. And I apologize if this video is really long. But, let's see. I think that's about it. So I'm sure you guys get the idea. Now, in the comments below, if you guys would like to answer this, I'd like to know what your parenting styles were like. If you guys are a parent, what do you think your parenting style is? Maybe you could ask your kids, see what they say. But, I always thought my mom was strict at one point, because, like, when I had a friend over, like, when I would have sleepovers, like, she would always send us upstairs to bed. Like, she wouldn't let us stay up late. She'd be like, okay, it's time to go upstairs and go to bed. which we didn't necessarily have to be sleeping, but we had to just be upstairs, like in bed, like in the bedroom. So, and she would say because she needs her rest, which I understand that. Like when you have sleepovers, you know, you should not keep the whole house up. But we weren't even doing that. You know, like we weren't even waking up the whole house. It's just that she just sent us upstairs because she needed her rest. So I feel like, I mean, it's kind of like strict in that sense, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, but yeah. So if you guys, if you are parents, what do you think your parenting style is? And for those of you guys that, you know, obviously don't have kids, or what do you think your parents' parenting style is? So you think they were strict, meaning like they were very controlling, they had high control, low warmth? Do you think they were like in the middle, kind of like maybe like not as much control, but a lot of warmth? And like high warmth, high control? Or do you think they were easygoing, meaning like no, like low control, or low control, yeah, and high amount of warmth? So, what do you think they were? Kind of, I'd said before, my mother I think is in the middle, medium. If it's easier for you guys to like, instead of like authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, if it's easier for you guys to just say strict, medium, or easygoing, I'm cool with that, because honestly, that's what I say. So like I said before, I think my mom is medium and my dad is strict. Like if he was, like the thing is, he didn't live with us growing up, so he wasn't with us all the time. But if he was with us all the time, he would be strict. So yeah, but anyway, that does it for this video, and I apologize if it was kind of long, but be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. All right, bye guys.